We have, and the titles are so long I have to actually read them. Intervention Services Manager, Surrey RCMP Support Services, Mark Elson, along with Corporal Bert Paquette from the Surrey RCMP. Special Services, Victim Services, 30th anniversary for this particular unit, would we call it?
That's right. We're a unit of the support services to the Surrey RCMP, and we started 30 years ago. We started off initially as a volunteer group, and about 12, 13 years ago, we became a full-time dedicated section.
Now, we see these news stories all the time, traumatic events, people suffering losses. What is the process? We hear victim services have been called, that goes to you, and then do you go out? Do you go out collectively? How does this work?
We're actually the first responders to any critical incident or trauma. We make the assessment and the referral to victim services for a caseworker to assist us and come and take over. While we focus on the criminal aspect of the investigation, the victim services caseworkers will focus on the human side of tragedy and traumas, and they're absolutely wonderful people.
You were saying that in the break, and I don't know how you do your job every day. It's like being an emergency room physician with the bad news side always being a part of your day-to-day. We recently hear of things of where there's a tragedy involving a school child, and victim services then goes into the schools and helps children. How can we, what's the process with that, and how can we as parents and just adults help kids when they see the news, when they see, how do they process this stuff?
You know what, you're absolutely right. I have an amazing team of people behind me that do all the hard work. And when it comes to helping victims that are going through a hard time, you know what, being there is the first and foremost. You know what, we were talking before and you said oftentimes people are not sure about what to say, how to respond. And we have something we say, the golden rule of silence. And you know what, just letting that person process their thoughts, their emotions, and oftentimes they'll be the person that will initiate what their needs are. And being there supportive, listening to what they have to say, repetition again, just having that patience while they go through and they process this difficult time that they're experiencing.
Is there sort of a standard reaction and a evolution to recovery from traumatic events?
You know, a standard response, there isn't. Everybody takes a situation differently, and everybody will respond differently. Some people will go introverted, they'll go inside themselves, they'll withdraw. Some people may lash out, they'll be very angry about it. You know, those are all normal responses to an unusual or an abnormal situation, right? And again, just being there, letting them let you know what their needs are.
And in terms of being first responders, how do you process those traumatic events as the ones that would call in victim services? You have to deal with this. You have families. You go home each day and need to unsee the unseeable.
That's absolutely true. Depending on the cases, and specifically we'll deal with situations that will affect us personally more than others. But it also gives us an insight as to what the victim might feel like and what kind of needs that person or that family might have. And it puts us in a better position to make the appropriate call for a victim service caseworker to get involved, but also provide that worker with some of the first-hand knowledge we have received from the victim, and kind of give them a bit of a heads up as to what they are getting into, what kind of a situation. Like Mark was explaining, everybody will react differently to different situations because we are the first responders, because we have been there. We're in a good position to make a good assessment and provide a referral and have a caseworker take over the human side of things.
Well, we thank you collectively for the hard work that you do. It's fascinating to meet you and to understand what your job is, to go in and help repair what is broken in people by day-to-day society and the tragedies that do affect us. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you very much for having us on.
Talk to you all afternoon.